Are you ready to listen to a podcast?
Here comes the Playhouse Podcast, thanks to Bradshaw and Bryan Law Offices.
Find, subscribe, and listen.
I've reached a point where I just think things need to be even. They need to be consistent.
I don't think they ever will be.
Tell somebody to do something one way. You can't, in front of them, treat somebody else completely different, like somebody's child. So I was raised, take your shoes off when you come in the house.
Yeah. Or
you track dirt everywhere. It's gross. Don't wear your shoes in the house. That's weird. And so we go over to my mom's house the other day, and I have Liam, and we're horrible. That I was
You're
going to cut this short. Okay, so we walk in, and my mom looks at Liam, and she goes, just keep him on. And then I start walking into the kitchen. She goes, what? Take your shoes off. I was like, where am I? You just told my son, who probably has dirtier tennis shoes than me, that he could keep them on. And that I had to take my flip-flops off. It was very weird, but it always happens. That stuff constantly happens where the grandkids are treated differently than you were growing up. Like, was it infuriating? I would think watching your dad be lovey-dovey to your kids when he was kind of like a hardcore guy.
It wasn't lovey-dovey. He was just, it was that military mentality, right? There wasn't a lot of hugs and pats on the back and stuff like that. There was just clear expectations and clear understanding of whether you did it right or didn't do it. What was the most odd for me? My parents' house was always like growing up. It was a house, right? They had 2 kids and stuff like that. It was regular, but when everybody left the house and had lives, it became kind of like a museum. Yeah, there was little crocheted doilies all over the place. Everything was super clean all the time. Nothing was out of place. To the toilet paper roll, my mom would sometimes put that little crease in it and stuff like that, right?
Really? Like you're at a hotel?
Like knowing people were coming over.
Oh, cute.
And my kids would come into that house as little kids and terrorize it. Yeah. There would be crap everywhere.
And she would be okay with it?
And they would be okay with it until we were about ready to leave.
Yeah.
And then my dad would go, you're going to leave those toys out like that? And I'd be like, well, yeah, I'll get the kids back in. Well, you don't have to get the kids to do it. Why don't you just take care of that? And I'd be like, you're killing me, Dad. Like, I'm a 40-year-old man, and I got to still be cleaning up after my kids at your house?
Yeah.
And they were just, and the junk food they gave them. You guys want some jelly beans? Would you like some Reese's?
You only had apples
M&Ms?
growing up.
It was an apple or an orange out of the crisper and the occasional hot dog.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it wasn't like a plethora of food. But knowing my family was coming over, my mom would go spend $300 at the grocery store. What? You guys haven't had quesadillas yet this week? Let's make some of those up for you.
Yeah.
It was spoiled. They spoiled the hell out of them. And I think that's one of the things I'm excited to be a grandparent for.
Yeah.
Is to look at my kids and all the stuff they pissed and moaned about, and then to be able to give it to their children just out of spite.
It must be
looking forward to that.
It must be where you can give them back, but leave them with nothing but great memories of you. And that's what makes them keep wanting to come back.
And then they leave in about 4 hours.
Yeah.
That's the part I'm looking forward to the most. Come on in. Here's a bunch of crap. Now I'm going to send you home with your parents, you jerk.
I'm good. How are you?
Great. Thanks for being on the show. We were talking about, Kat's frustration that she goes and she brings her son to visit her mom. And, her mom was really specific when she was a kid. Like, you can never have shoes on in the house. And she walks in with her 9-year-old and, no. Go ahead, leave your shoes on. So Kat leaves hers on, and her mom goes, take your shoes off.
Yeah.
Like, you know better than this.
It was just a double standard. And then I found myself shooting Liam a bad look. Like, it was his fault, but it wasn't. It was her fault. So what's your story? What'd your parents do?
Well, one, my kids could burn her house down, and she would make up any excuse like, oh, well, they're just kids, Caitlin. Like, it's not their fault. They don't know better.
I shouldn't have left the matches in the locked drawer.
It's my fault for leaving all that gasoline out.
Exactly. My mom growing up, I had to teach myself how to cook later on in life. Every time my mom and I growing up, I'd say, oh, I want to help you bake. I want to help you cook. Every time we would try, she would end up taking over because I was doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Now, every time I go pick up my daughter from her house, they baked cookies, spaghetti. My mom's like, she's such a great cook. And I'm like, what about me?
Yeah, but now she's got the time to do it. Like, I kind of get it.
No.
It's like they sit there and they yearn for time with their grandkids every couple of weeks, and then they have them for the weekend. So going to just do it all. So I get it, I guess.
Yeah.
I remember my dad teaching me how to throw a curveball when I was probably about 10. And as I'm teaching my oldest son when he was like 9 or 10, and then we go back and visit my parents, and my dad would always play catch with them outside. And I remember my son Peyton going, "Yeah, I got the curveball down, Papa. You want to see this?" And my dad looks at me and he goes, "Are you kidding me? You're teaching a 10-year-old to throw a curveball?" And I go, "Dad, you taught me when I was 9. I never had any arm problems because we did it right." He goes, "But how do you know you're doing it right?" I go, "I've been throwing a curveball for 30 years. I think I know how to do it right." "Yeah, but what if he gets hurt?"
Yeah.
Like he had this care level that with me it was learn as soon as you can because we need you to excel at this.
Arm schmarm.
When it was my kid, it was, well, hold on. Let's just make sure he doesn't get hurt. It was so different. So
funny.
And again, what you're going to be able to do though is do this to your children one day. It's this evil cycle of trying to manipulate the system, and one day they're going to go, "Grandma Caitlin, can we do this?" And it's going to be the exact stuff you told your kids they could never do, and you're going to do it just out of spite.
I forget that I'm a grandkid, too. My grandma Ellie is just, like, on my side no matter what. Like, if it were a murder trial and I was hands down guilty, she would be the only one sitting on my side, and she would clap for me, everything I'd say.
She's a good girl. People like her.
She's the best murderer ever.
Radio Paparazzi.
Oh, we've been waiting for this moment. Amber Heard's testimony, the cross-examination, the questions about the poop in the bed. Explain it.
Did you commit any kind of prank?
Absolutely not. First of all, I don't think that's funny. I was not also in a pranking mood. My life was falling apart and knew I needed to leave. It was not really a jovial time. And I don't think that's funny.
I do. I really do.
You're telling me she did not crack a smile when she found out?
You know she dumped in his bed. You know it happened.
She said it was the dog. The dog had incontinence since it got into a stash of Johnny's weed a while before.
So your story is the little baby dog that can fit in your hand ate too many weed brownies and then pooped in the bed a human poop size.
Correct.
I ain't buying it.
I'm not either. All right, Bobby Brown is releasing new music and doing a lot of interviews. And they were bringing up the time way back when he challenged himself to spend $1 million in one day.
I bought 3 cars, a house. I believe I bought a watch, and that was it.
In one day?
In one day.
How'd that feel?
You said at the time it felt great, but then you said many years later, you said, I wish I hadn't done that stuff.
I hadn't done it.
Oh, I bet it feels amazing to spend $1 million in a day.
God. I know exactly what I would do. Do you have, you probably have it spent in your head right now.
Yeah, no problem.
I would buy like a piece of land. I would have my giant house, and then I'd buy little cabins for all my relatives to live.
No.
On that land.
No. On the other people living around me thing.
No, I would. Because I'm a nice person. I'm a giving family person. Megan Fox, she was on the red carpet, Billboard Music Awards red carpet, and she had this outfit on, and it was like a blue jumpsuit. And there was really no way of getting out of it unless you like were sewn out of it. And so she did what she had to do and sent this text to her stylist.
Megan asks Maeve, was this blue outfit expensive? Because we just cut a hole in the crotch so we could have... The stylist's first reaction was, I hate you, with 3 laughing emojis, followed by, I'll fix it.
To live that rock star lifestyle where you just have to have it right now. Blowing out their candles today, Derek Huff is 37. Jordan Knight from NKOTB is 52. Sugar Ray Leonard is 66. And you know who else would have been 66? Bob Saget.
Imagine you got married, Kat. You guys are 10 years in, right? Imagine you went on your honeymoon with your husband, and you came back, and your parents were like, how was it? And you said it was good, but you know what? Derek and I decided, as we spent this time away and alone, that we just don't want kids. We think financially and responsibility-wise and just the way the world is right now, we don't really want kids. And imagine if your parents reacted by bringing you to court for this.
Yeah, I think that is something that you dream of, becoming a grandparent, but you also want your child to be happy, and if it's not their calling, you probably should understand it.
So let me break this down for you. This guy in India is being sued for $650,000 by his parents because he's decided to not have kids. So the parents go into court and they make this plea. Their complaint says their son, who's now 31, and they hoped he would give them a, quote, grandchild to play with when they retired. So he and his wife moved back into their house after he went to pilot school and couldn't find a job. Now, he eventually found work as a pilot. They said, we were hardly left with any money because we spent everything on our son. At least if we had a grandchild to spend some time with, our pain would become bearable. We killed our dreams to raise him. Their complaint, which is asking for $650,000 if no grandchild emerges within a year,
wow, pressure,
is being heard in the courts. Now, how do you feel about this? Their parents, his guy's parents, assumed that if they spent all their money to raise their children, that they would get grandchildren, and they're getting none.
Well, it's definitely a spiteful lawsuit because now they've turned it around. They were okay with helping pay for everything to make his dreams come true.
Now, this might happen to you guys. You have one child.
Yes.
If your son decides, I don't want kids,
I know,
you will have no grandchildren.
It will end with him, and that's it.
Craziness.
You know what makes me sad is that I need him to find somebody and then procreate. Because when Derek and I are gone, then he's like, I'm going to start crying. Then he's alone. I'm going to start crying.
Being alone in your 30s and 40s is a tough road, man.
That is. It's an awful thought to think about, but...
He would do probably unbearable things.
Like what? What are you even saying? Why would you want me to cry? I'm just saying... They should probably just leave it be because now, one, they're not going to have any grandkids around and they're probably not going to have a son around. How do you get over this? You can't get over a family lawsuit.
Here's my camera angle on this, though. I want to talk to anyone who's been in court with a family member.
Okay.
Like you had a lawsuit, like a civil lawsuit for money or damages with a family member. Can you imagine being on the other side of the courtroom from your parents and them suing you for $650,000 because you didn't want to have a baby?
Wouldn't the judge say if this was a contingency type of case, like did he know that that is something he was expected to give you
There's a
in
lot
return
of things,
for all that money?
A lot of things in civil court that are assumed. Mom and dad are sitting there suing you for over $500,000 because you didn't get one past the goalie and you don't want to have kids.
That's pretty terrible.
So
you just ruined a relationship with your child.
Sounds like that might have been a little strained to begin with.
Yeah.
Now, have you ever been in court with somebody from your family? If so, will you share a little with us?
Let's start with some good news.
I've got good news and good news.
Tell them the good news.
Good news? Good news.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
This is not just good news. This is great news. I think it was last week we had a story about this random anonymous person paying off, 100 different student loans. This time, it's actually Snapchat CEO Evan Spiegel and his wife Miranda Kerr doing it for these college students.
We are pleased to announce today that Evan and Miranda have made the largest single gift in the history of Otis College. Their gift will enable you to repay your student loans.
Wow.
That's amazing.
And they were up there and they got to stand up and these kids, like it took them a second, you could see, to process. And then they're like, oh my God, we're going to graduate without any student debt.
Great,
yeah.
Right? Love this action. But here's the problem with this. It's so widespread right now that kids are going to go to commencements this weekend.
I know.
Hoping that somebody comes across the stage like Bill Gates shows up and they're going to be disappointed to get their college diploma and not have somebody come to commencements and pay off that friggin' huge amount.
If you have a chance to speak at your commencement and you jinx, like you joke and you say, I just want to say
that all of your college debt is something you're going to still want to be paying off in a couple
I will buy
years.
you a steak dinner.
Wow.
If you can do that and get it on film, that would be, don't do that. That's terrible.
You will probably get murdered.
Yeah.
Let's begin now.
Let's get things crack-a-lackin'. Good morning. Tuesday vibes popping in the Playhouse. Prior to the show, I was wheelbarrow shopping, Kat.
Oh, okay. Well, gardening?
I got a ton of rock I'm going to have to move at our cabin to get some weeping tile put in. And I
You
think
used to be so cool.
I know. This is all I'm doing
man.
lately. This is literally, I do this job, and then I do my other job, and then I do a little bit of parenting, and then otherwise I'm just working on landscaping stuff. It's really, really starting to get intoxicating. But I think the wheelbarrow that we currently have is not going to make the summer.
Okay.
So I'm looking at a good investment here.
Oh, nice.
That's my life. My 18-year-old JJ is so disappointed in what's become of his life right now. So.
Shaking his
How about
head.
you yesterday? What'd you do?
I did a lot, actually. Had to go grocery shopping, ran to Target, ran to Caribou, gassed up, got Liam. First night of concessions last night. We made, guess how much? $45.
$45.
Which is really good because there was only one team playing. So that means like a lot of people bought goods.
Yeah.
So good
What do y'all
start.
do? Mostly popcorn and sodas and stuff?
No popcorn. I have like every drink possible, including cold brew for the awesome moms out there.
Right
Candy, every chip possible. I have Cup O soup because we can only get permitted for like hot food for 10 days out of the summer. So I have to like pick and choose the tournament days. And then we had baseball. Lost 12-7. They had a good comeback and then had some walking tacos. So I ended my night. Actually had a pretty good sleep too. And that's that. We are boring.
They had the whole SUV full of people. It was like a $60 bill. So they go through and she runs her credit card and he gets it back. And she's like, it's going to be a couple of minutes. Because I think it's one of those places you expect to wait a little bit because I think they make it to order, right?
They give you your number, yeah.
Yeah, and so he pulls ahead. And they wait, I don't know, 3-4 minutes, whatever. And this girl runs out and she's got her blue hat on and she gives him the food and he says, thank you. And the girl looks in the back. She goes, hi, Lacey. And she goes, oh, hey, how's it going? And his daughter's in the back and obviously knows the girl. And they start pulling away and his daughter Lacey wigs out on him, starts screaming at him that he has to stop and go back and give her a tip because they know each other and she's going to go to school on Monday and tell everybody how cheap their family is and he's like, why am I having to tip everywhere? I mean, he went on this long tirade. It reminded me of myself. He's like, why do I have to tip everybody in my life right now? This girl ran 2 bags of food out to our car and I got to give her a tip.
Yeah.
And he was going off, but his daughter was insistent that he go back and give a tip. So is that a tippable situation? I wanted to run that by you.
I would say no. If it's not an option when they swipe, and they don't have that arm anymore that brings that like COVID arm with the
I bet
machine.
you they made good tips off that.
I think they did because when I'd go through a coffee drive-through, they would stare at you until you selected a button. So I would just select the 15%, which I think was like 74 cents, and you're just like, fine, I'll give you something. But I just don't think that that's the part of the food industry that needs to be tipped, to be honest.
He said, I already spent $60. I didn't have any cash on me, and I'm supposed to now tip at a fast food drive-thru.
Yeah.
He's like, are we going to end up tipping everybody for everything eventually? And he kind of felt like he was made by his wife and his daughter to feel like a jerk that he didn't give this girl a couple of bucks. And I was like, I wouldn't have given her money either.
Well, listen, if it's that big of a deal, have the daughter bring her own money to school and say, here you go. This is from my dad.
How embarrassing would that be?
For the girl?
Yeah, to be a 15-year-old girl and then give a girl on the other side of the lunch table $3 and say, my dad forgot to tip you the other night. Whoa.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that would be your tip. It would be $3. Like, is that big of a deal? How many times are you going to be tipped as a drive-through attendant anyway? You'll walk away with $3 that day?
I don't know. It seems weird to me that you should be tipping at a drive-through.
Tipping is a very sensitive subject for me when Derek is around. Derek always thinks that I'm a bad tipper. He's like, you have to do right by these people. And I try. I do 20%.
If you're waiting for your food in your car and somebody just runs it out, is that tippable? How are we, Kim?
We're doing good. How are you?
Great, thanks. I was talking about my friend Eric the other night. He goes through the drive-thru, and I think it was Culver's. This makes sense. And he had the whole SUV full of people. It was like $60 for food, and they're asked to kind of pull over to the side. And this girl runs the food out. He says thanks, and they take their food. And as they're leaving, his daughter in the back seat starts screaming at him, Dad, you've got to tip that girl. I go to school with her, and she's going to tell everybody how cheap we are. And he's like, number one, he ran his credit card at the window, and he's like, I didn't have any cash on me, but do I have to tip like everybody nowadays? Would have you tipped this person?
No, absolutely not. That's part of her job.
I agree with you. The people that I tip get me my water, greet me with a smile. They hustle. They get my food to me on time. They get it to me correctly. Like that's like the service industry. I was in the service industry. It's like that's what your job is.
Yes, I've worked in the fast food industry almost my whole entire life. And first of all, we don't actually accept tips. If we do get some kind of extra change, we have to put it in like for instance, I work for McDonald's. We put it in the Ronald McDonald thing. So we're not allowed to accept tips, but we are paid to give great service regardless.
Yeah.
So it's all inclusive. I mean, people nowadays, they walk into McDonald's and they make $14 an hour starting, no experience. That's plenty. Like, so no, absolutely do not tip.
Let me ask you about this then, because another one of our friends had chimed in and said his son works at McDonald's. He's 16. His son works at McDonald's, and we were just kind of talking about tips. It was like four of us standing around, like dads do, arms crossed, flexing, being really tough guys. And he said that his son one day, this woman kept coming in all the time. She was an elderly woman. She'd come in for coffee, and she'd have like whatever the breakfast sandwich was that she was really into. But one day, she gave the kid at the register, his son, a $100 bill.
Oh, wow.
And said, this is for you. You've always been nice to me. I'm going to die soon.
Oh.
And she started spreading her money around. Are you telling me that he wasn't, because he kept that money, he wasn't supposed to, though?
I think it's under the manager's discretion. Okay. Like, you have to tell the manager, hey, I got this and this is why.
Yeah.
But my manager probably would have let them keep it for sure. But it's, no, we're not really supposed to be like, people try to tip me. I provide really great service. I'm, friendly, really good at my job. Yeah. But I'm like, oh, thank you. And I just stick it in the Ronald McDonald House thing. So
what's weird is how
sweet.
What's weird is how arbitrary this is, because like, let's say a guy comes to fix your roof and the bill is going to be $1,987. Would you write that check out for $1,987 or $2,000 and just say, hey, thanks for the extra work?
I don't know. I guess it depends on.
I would round that up. If somebody's working on my home or something like that, I would round that up. But if I go to get my
tipped for labor. I've never even thought about tipping for labor. I thought that was worked into their trade. That's their.
It is. But it's also something going above and beyond to help, I suppose. Like, you did such a great job, and you were really, you did it in a timely manner. I also drove for party buses. And you would be shocked that people just wouldn't tip. I mean, to me,
all the crap you got to put up with? You got to clean up puke and pick up drunk people and stuff, and they wouldn't tip you?
There were nights I did not get a single tip, and I was just like, wow.
I guess
it depends on where you're going.
Yeah, good service is good service, and I think I'll always reward it. And I do. I'm a rater, so I will go online if it's good service. I don't do bad service ratings because you never know what kind of day they were having, and I don't want to penalize all the other people that were working there.
Again, it's an arbitrary move. Good service to you is completely different to good service for somebody else.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like, I'd hate that somebody's going to be financially impacted on the fact that there's a miscommunication or but the server thing that always gets me is if you go to a restaurant, it's probably not your waiter or waitress's fault that food is coming out late. You know what I mean?
No, I understand that stuff, but it is your fault if you don't swing by and ask me if my water needs refilling when it's all the way bone dry. You know what I mean? Like, there are certain things.
You're so bougie.
Because I want my water refilled.
Thanks,
all right, whatever.
Have a great morning.
Somebody that you can hire to quit for you. First off, I saw this card, and it was this guy putting in his notice, but it says on the front, I can't even begin to understand the depth of your loss. So it was a sympathy card. On the inside, it says, it's me, Todd. I leave in 3 weeks. I thought it was creative.
That's really awesome.
Like, in radio, we're a very small world. You don't want to quit on a bad note unless you're ready to get out of radio, and then you just want to tell everybody what you think.
What you really think.
Yeah, so you just kind of have to be careful with it. Maybe you want to hire William Hung, failed 2004 American Idol auditionist, but he also sang She Bangs from Ricky Martin. He quit for this guy.
Hi, everyone. This is William Hung. Christopher is going to put in the notice to leave the current job for a new job in 2 weeks. You found a new job. You miss all of you, but you're all amazing.
That is so cute.
First off, funny. Great way to go out, right? But that was 18 years ago. This guy, for 18 years, has been riding out, horribly singing She Bangs, and having an incredible life.
That's a
Kudos,
hustle.
William Hung.
We've met him. We spent time with him.
I ate hot dogs with him.
He is a great guy. So why not choose somebody that will, have you leave on a positive note?
We still know one guy that failed American Idol horribly 18 years ago. That is super cool.
I want to know if you had to have any celeb through Cameo quit for you today, who would it be?
Well, at first I was thinking Morgan Freeman because it would be majestic and everything like that, right? And then I went Adam Sandler because he's such a superstar and he would make it kind of goofy. But then I went, would there be anybody better than the Shat?
Oh, yeah.
He could make it so diplomatic and regal. So I'm going William Shatner.
You are? All right. I was going to do Jane Lynch because she would be pretty funny. But I'm going to do Danny DeVito because he has that sense of spice. And you're going to know exactly why I'm leaving, And he won't let you forget that you failed me as an employer.
Only if he came out of the couch naked and then quit for you on video.
Slid right into the camera.
Righteous.
She's out of here. All right. So if you had to choose any celeb to quit for you today, who would it be? Let me know because that is what's trending. Have you seen Candy, first off?
No.
With Jessica Biel?
No.
So back in 1979, you were what, 30? 20? So you would remember the case of what happened in Wiley, Texas, where Candy Montgomery, she was having affairs with these guys in the church. And then she had an affair with this guy named Alan Gore. And his wife, Betty, was just like really, she had like a lot of anxiety or whatever. She's always paranoid. So
because your husband's having an affair. I wonder why you're paranoid.
I know. But then one day, Candy goes over there and chops her up with an axe. This is Jessica Biel's character. And then there's this big trial. Found not guilty.
She was hooking up with the judge, too.
She hit this woman 42 times with an axe. Found not guilty. Has been walking amongst us this whole time.
Really?
Anyway, so Jessica Biel's doing press for the show. I suggest you watch it. It's on Hulu. It is incredible. But she's talking about one thing that she does in the shower, and it bothers Justin Timberlake big.
I eat and drink coffee in the shower and the tub, and my husband can't stand it.
That is interesting because I feel like that is the one place my appetite is curbed.
I mean,
no, don't.
I think I'm just trying to do so many things at once so quickly.
Oh, God.
I just love it so much, though.
Listen, she's hard to look at. She's like looking at the sun.
She's pretty beautiful.
I mean? She's very, very pretty. But
she's a multitasker. I think if you have a Hollywood career like she does, a couple of kids, a very famous husband, you got a lot to do.
I would think that you'd have somebody just waiting in the kitchen with your coffee and your bagel made to hand it to you going out the door, and that you wouldn't have to cram it in the bathtub or the shower.
But she likes it. She likes to just get everything done at one time, but he can't handle it. But we have a few coworkers that have had their husbands install wine holders, drink holders in the shower, so they have a little... At the end of the day,
I would always be afraid
I'd
drop a glass and end up having to, have glass down
like
there.
Like a White Claw can or something. Like that. Don't bring glass into the shower. That's just silly.
Oh, we wanted to keep it classy.
My cousin actually had a mini flat screen TV. So, I don't know what's this.
Probably 16? Like a 16-inch TV.
Yeah. Above the shower, fog-free. They're very wealthy. And so she sits in there and she watches the news in the morning.
That's a power move right there.
How long are your showers? My showers are like... Well, I guess if I have my hair, but maybe like 9 minutes quickly. You really have to turn the TV on at all times.
That TV is a power move. Now, I don't get to really do anything in the shower because I'm trying to keep it quiet, right? The rest of the house is sleeping.
Yeah.
But I do shave in the shower. Like, I'll shave my head and my face.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a fog-free mirror?
Yeah. But I don't even need it really anymore.
Oh.
I just feel my way around my head. It's very weird. I can do it so fast.
Melissa already texting in that she checks her emails in the shower just to get it out of the way so she can have breakfast and relax for the morning. I mean, that makes sense if you're going to sit there and you're just kind of showering, looking through your phone.
This is going to sound horrible, but there was about a 6-week stretch where I consume my on-demand TV shows in like 10 to 15-minute portions in the morning.
That bothers me that you do that.
Whether it's Ozark right now, I'm getting like 10-minute chunks every day. But
Ruth dies at the end. There.
God, you're such a jerk. God, I can't. I mean, I could see it when you said it the other day.
Bullet to the chest.
When you... God, you're the worst.
It's the last season.
You're the worst.
There's nowhere to go.
But as you said that the other day, I didn't believe you, and now I see it slowly leading that way, and it's bothering me.
Oh, yeah.
But when the last season of Better Call Saul came out, I would watch 10-minute chunks in the shower.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to get 20 minutes worth of watching it in.
So, don't you want to have both hands active and just like get stuff done?
No,
and
what I
get
do
out?
is I put the one earbud in so I don't wake everybody, and I just make sure that side of my head doesn't get wet until
that ear is so dirty.
I take that. No, I take that butt out, and then that's how I finish my shower. Once I'm done, I hit pause on my phone. I'll take that butt out, and then I'll wash up this side real quick, and then I'm done.
What a to-do. Do you do anything other than shower in the shower?
You still pee in the shower, don't you?
You watch TV? That's Nunya.
Yeah, that's
everyone
the nastiest.
Pees in the shower.
No, not
pees
everyone.
In the shower.
I don't. I never have. I never will. That is a subhuman trait. That is as far back to cave people as we can get, is peeing in the shower.
There's nothing wrong with it.
No.
It's just like the one-stop shop.
This is Jessica Biel with an astounding confession.
I eat and drink coffee in the shower and the tub.
Justin can't handle it. No. Justin Timberlake is like, I can't do this. You're a human goddess.
I think she just looks at it as something you have to do. You have to shower to stay clean, but I want to get a whole bunch done at the same time, so why not mix breakfast in there and just get it done? And I don't know why it should bother him. He's not in there.
I was always astounded by the fact that my friend Paul, growing up, they had probably like a 13-inch color TV in their bathroom.
Yeah.
Like, took up spots on the, like on the countertop. And they also had a phone in their bathroom, so you could talk to somebody while you were pooping.
Oh my God, how crazy.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Were they millionaires?
No, they were farmers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but so what I'm assuming is that they had some kind of a phone line run into the bathroom when they were doing like reconstruction or something. So you literally could have been on the phone while you were in the shower.
I had some cousins that would do their dishes in the shower, and they had a different kind of reason.
There's a Seinfeld episode where Kramer decides to put a garbage disposal in his shower.
Saw that.
And he prepares food while he bathes. It's super nasty, man.
Very, very weird. So.
Lucy, how we feeling today?
Good.
Good. You do something really odd in the shower that we should know about?
Sometimes I play like review videos for my tests coming up for school.
Oh, so you study.
While I'm showering.
You get smart.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Now, do you put your phone in like a plastic baggie? I've seen people do that hack where they put it in a baggie to make sure it doesn't get wet, or you just leave it on like an edge or something like that?
I just leave it on the edge just so that I can just see it, but it's not getting wet.
Now, when you're passing a test, like when you're really, really killing a test, you're cruising right through it, and you just feel so confident because you know all the answers. Do you think back to that time that you were, standing in your own filth, watching that video, learning that material?
Not really. I guess I'm really thankful that I did.
Yeah, I love that you're taking your studies so seriously.
The new generation student has an option that we never had growing up on textbooks and everything like that. We don't get to review videos and stuff like that. We would have
our pages would crinkle up.
I would have had to bring in the college rule spiral notebook with me, along with a number 2 pencil, if I wanted to do that while I was in the shower.
You just don't know how good you got it, girl.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate.
And Lucy, do your grades reflect the fact that you're a great shower studier?
Oh, they definitely do.
Good. Super proud of you.
Keep it up.
Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye.
Radio Paparazzi.
Amber Heard on the stand. They had like a week's time off to recoup, and then they're coming back, and now it's her.
Come up with more lies.
Yeah. But this time she's talking about the safe word that she and Johnny used.
Now, we heard an audio tape earlier during this trial in which you said the word couch repeatedly. Can you please explain to the jury what that meant?
It was meant to be a safe word, like a word like truce, where you put down the proverbial guns and you say, truce, we're not fighting anymore.
They fought so much they had a fighting safe word.
I would fight about somebody calling the safe word too early before I got my point.
Well, plus the amount of time you spend on the couch, you'd never know if you needed to be safe or if you were just tired.
Are we done, or do we sit down, or what's going on? To promote the new Tommy Hilfiger clothing line, and can I tell you how exciting that Tommy is still around? It was
that guy died a couple years ago, to be honest.
Oh, but Shawn Mendes is the one that was asked to cover Bruce Springsteen's "Dancing in the Dark," and he does it. You can't start a fire. Shirtless. You can't start a fire without a muscle. his
like
clothes over his shoulder, and he walks at the camera, and he winks, and he's like rolling around on grass.
He's so talented. I mean, you can't take many people and cover up a classic like that and make it sound good. He's very, very good.
So good. Check out Matt McConaughey's explanation of why we should remove this word from the dictionary.
Unbelievable. All right, it's my least favorite word. I think we should wipe it out of the dictionary. Why? What's so unbelievable about tragedy, about triumph, about people that raise us up or let us down? It happens every single day. So, unbelievable. I don't buy it.
That's so true. Like when you get an asinine email explaining something, but it really doesn't. And then you're like, this person is unbelievable. It's really not unbelievable because you expect them to do what they just did, you know?
What?
So maybe I'm going to try to not use it anymore. You're unbelievable.
This is all so confusing to me.
Unbelievable. Blowing out their candles today, we have Jordan Knight from New Kids turning 52. Singer Enya is 61. And Derek Huff from Dancing with the Stars is 37.
House of pizza for my birthday. House of pizza for my birthday. House of pizza for my birthday. House of pizza for my birthday.
Does Enya have a name? I mean, is it
Enya?
Is it Enya business? Enya. But no, I'm just
Please don't waste all your good jokes.
Is that her name?
You know, she's my dad's favorite artist. Sail away, sail away, sail away.
This
He would
girl?
sit there in the dark. Now looking back,
Your dad sits in the dark listening to this?
No, but he loves this.
Is that a real name though? I mean, is it Enya? Is it like
I would assume so.
Madonna?
When I was in theater, we would have to. This is how we did our toe stretches because it helped you on stage. Now that I say that out loud,
every memory you
my
have
life is a lie.
Enya is a horrible tragedy.
They were like, everybody line up, toe stretches, so you could have a better play. How dumb.
Was this the 90s too?
Yeah.
How did this get on popular radio, guys? What kind of drugs were we doing back then?
It's a beautiful sound.
Like if you're in a massage parlor or something, yeah.
This Lyft driver named James Bodie, he's being praised for how he handled a couple who got into his car in Allentown, Pennsylvania, and they were just pure racist.
Hello, for Jackie, right?
Yeah.
How are you?
Yeah, you're like a white guy.
What's that?
Are you like a white guy?
Excuse me?
Are you like a normal guy? Like you speak English? Sorry.
She said, wow, you're a white guy. That's okay. I'm not going to take the ride. You guys can get out.
Really?
Yeah. Completely inappropriate.
Oh, you're
It's all on camera, man. It's all on camera.
I should punch you in the face.
You're going to threaten me?
Yeah.
That's all.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because you guys are racist.
Wow. Once you get to 1 star with a Lyft or Uber, nobody picking you up. And he said that it was because he has so many colleagues that are his good friends that deal with racism on a daily basis when they pick people up. And he's like, I'm not going to stand for it. There's just no place for it. All right. So drop me a superhero beat because you're stopping me from feeling this way by not letting me get my posture brace. And I want it so badly
I think you
because
should get it.
my back hurts. And if I were to wear it in here, it would just be like, you would turn me into a meme, which would not be nice. But evidently, if you walk with the posture of a superhero, it can change your personality. You have to, be more dominant, upright, like a superhero. So walk with your shoulders back.
Walk like Superman?
And you're going to start to feel like you can conquer anything, like you can save the world. Look at your chest puffing up. Don't you feel like a different person already?
Yawning.
Oh, okay. Wonderful. There's no eloquent segue into this next conversation, but I had to talk about it because I'm like, what a crazy job. But somebody's got to do it. This guy in Hollywood, he's worked with prosthetic wieners for 40 years. And the last one that he did was one that you probably noticed. It was for Chris Hemsworth in Thor.
What's the length of it? What's the girth? How big are the et cetera, et cetera. And I'll go from there. From a stock mold, it's usually about $850 to $1,000. Production gave it to him in a shadow box, and he put it on his mantelpiece with his Thor hammer. So he's got both hammers together.
So this is from Vacation.
No, the Thor hand.
Yeah, no, Thor. He has it on. He has the hammer. And this is the prosthetic from Vacation with Ed Helms,
where he puts his leg up on there, and he's like, "This is the remote."
I can't believe of all people you forgot about that.
This is the volume, and then you can go up, and then you can go down with it. Oh my God!
It's such an uncomfortable moment.
I can't believe I forgot about that either. I'll never again forget about it.
All right. So we're talking about the guy that makes prosthetic man parts.
Which is a strange job. You know, like I would probably be able to have a pretty lengthy, pun intended, conversation with that guy. I want to know, is there a strange job out there what would you do?
I want to be a fight doctor.
A fight doctor?
Yeah, so it's the doctor.
In the ring?
Yeah, the doctor that comes to the side of the ring when a guy gets beat up pretty bad.
Yeah.
And he decides whether or not that guy can go on, whether it's safe for him, whether his eye is too swollen to be able to see.
You pop the finger back in.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, a little bit of that, I guess, but I'm talking like a boxing, like the fight. There was a guy, I remember watching fights with my dad all the time, and there was a guy named Ernie Pacheco.
Yeah.
He was the fight doctor, Ernie Pacheco.
Oh.
They would always talk about him, and he would be the guy, like a guy would get beat up pretty bad in like round 3, and he'd sit in his corner, and the fight doctor would come in there, and he'd look him over, and he'd ask him a couple of questions to understand his cognitive function. He'd make sure that his face wasn't too rearranged and that he could go on with it or whatever. And I always thought, this guy doesn't have to do surgery. He doesn't have to do rounds. He just waits for a big fight, wears a nice suit, puts on a pair of rubber gloves, and goes in there and goes, either you're beat up too bad or no, you can keep going, man.
Wow.
Now, heavy responsibility, right? Because you send a fighter back in there and he gets really seriously hurt or dies. That's probably on you, but I always wanted to be a fight doctor.
Okay.
How about you?
I have a few. The first one being I would like to travel and try cheese for a company. I mean, there has to be a cheese company out there that is looking for the best cheese in the world. Who could do that? Me. Rock pandas when they're sick. That is a job.
That's not a job.
It is a job. I've watched so many videos.
You walk into a panda cage and rock them?
Yeah, well, you work for
you got to work for the zoo.
The panda, where they keep the sanctuary. And then if they're not feeling well, these people come in with their like backwards robe on, and you sit there and you just like cuddle and rock these pandas. It's a strange job, but I would love that.
Wow.
Or having to sift through hours of like white noise and listen for a message from the other world. I would love to do that as well. And that's a job. Watch the Travel Channel any night of the week. That is a job. So I want to know, is there a strange job out there that you would love to do? Maybe it's making prosthetic wieners for Hollywood. Maybe it's rocking pandas. What is it?
We've got email. We've got email. Got email. Got email. We've got email.
Trying to pull it up. All right, we're ready. This is Larissa. She reached out to us, and she doesn't even live in this state, which I love that she's listening and waiting for your advice. Says our son graduated from college, and he has announced that he's moving back home. My husband wants to charge him rent. I think that we need to give him a break, let him catch his breath. After 4 years of school, graduated with a 3.8, which is big.
Yeah.
Let him live rent-free. That's my plan. My husband says that it will make him lazy, not teach him responsibility. Should we charge him or not? Quick email. I think you know what I would say. I would say don't charge him right now. Like, give him a break. Give him a couple of months to catch his breath. You get 60 days to just kind of decompress from what just happened. You graduated with a great GPA. You know what route you want to go in life. So get to it in 60 days. Who doesn't need like a little respite, you know?
You have 4 years to plan that out.
Yeah, but you're studying and reaching your goal and graduating. And
my wife and I argue about this all the time. So my oldest son will be a junior next year in college.
Yeah.
I think he's pretty well aware that you get your senior year, you can come home anytime, and then you get those 3 months of the summer, if that's what you need to do to circle your wagons.
90 days.
I'll give him the 90 days after he graduates.
Uh-huh.
Then you got to get your own spot.
Yeah. She won't make that happen.
Well, I know she won't.
Yeah.
You
stay here as long as you want.
It's to this point. So he's moving off campus this year. They got a house.
Yeah.
Here's how bad it is at my place. My wife is going out either today or tomorrow to buy him a new bed for the house he's living in so that he will have his old bed still in his bedroom in case he wants to come home. I said, hey, when's he going to come home? Thanksgiving, Christmas, maybe spring break? He can't sleep on the couch for those couple of days? No. I want to make sure that it's comfortable for him.
Okay.
So she's going out to buy a brand new bed, box spring, frame for him for his new place.
Nice mama.
I'm like, when did we win the lottery?
Yeah.
Dang.
I would, looking at my baby boy right now, I would give him a couple of months to get his feet under him and relax a little bit. And then if he's going to stay living with us for a little bit while he gets his career off and running, I'm totally okay with that. It's like having a roommate.
Terry already texted in, pay rent, you're an adult. Natasha says, make him pay for groceries at least.
How old are you when you graduate after a 4-year? 22?
You're 22 or 23, depending on, when you go to school and how long it takes.
There you go. I still think you need to have fun in your early 20s. That's how you don't go crazy in your mid-30s.
I'm guessing
because you sowed your wild oats.
We've probably got a lot of people in this situation right now. So you graduate from college. You're off into the big girl or big boy world. How long before you got to start paying your parents for rent or food? How do you handle something like
good
this?
advice. I'd love for Natasha to call in.
If you missed the email from Larissa a couple of seconds ago.
Talking about her son graduating from college and announced to his mom and dad that he's going to be coming home. And Larissa's husband says, yeah, but I'm going to charge you rent. And Larissa thinks that they should give him a break, let him catch his breath after 4 years of school. Graduated with a 3.8, so he hustled and did a really good job. And she thinks live rent-free for a couple of months. My husband says that it's going to make him lazy and teach him not to be responsible. Should we charge him or not?
Those are big growth years, 18 to 22 when you're in college. Yeah. And I think that teaches you to be responsible. And I think you're probably unlazy if you've managed to pull off a 3.8 GPA. So I would row against the stream of the husband here, and I would say let him live a couple of months rent-free. Here's the odds, guys. You got to also remember that your child probably at age 22 doesn't want to live at home very long. They're just trying to get their feet under them.
Yeah, and I'm totally okay with even if they wanted to stretch it out a year, if they contributed some money and I knew they were getting up and being productive and showering and going to work, and then they're off on their own, I don't think a year is that big of a deal. Plus, they're
Year's
home.
a long time.
Plus, they're home.
I'm talking 3 months. Then you got to get your spot. Shayna, first thoughts on this?
Well, my sister helped me out, so I got out of a bad relationship, moved in with her, and she charged me like $400 of rent, and then she put $200 aside. So then that way, when I was ready to move out, I had that extra money to put a down payment on a house or a down payment for an apartment.
I don't know if you listened to, we had a conversation like this a few months ago where this mom from TikTok is like, yeah, once you're 16, we start charging you rent. And then she saves it all in an envelope and gives it back to them when it's time to move out. And then they'll have like this huge chunk of change.
And the same thing, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, in a way it kind of sucks for a kid because, you don't have that money right away. But when you're an adult and you really need that money, it's nice to have it.
Your sister's pretty smart. Did she learn this from somewhere else, did she say? Or was this just kind of on her own?
Kind of on her own. She's really into Dave Ramsey.
Oh, gotcha. Right. I gotcha. There's nothing wrong with that. All right. Hey, thanks for sharing with us. Hope you have a really good morning today.
Thanks, you too.
Take care. What's good, Natasha? How we feeling?
Good.
Good. What do you do here?
What?
What would you do here?
Oh my gosh, totally blanked up. Okay, so
that's all right.
My parents. So when I went to college, immediately they actually turned my room into the office.
Same.
So I actually did it. Like if I ever went home, I didn't have a bed. But when I was in a situation, broke up with my ex, and then I moved back home for like 3 weeks, and it was the most awkward thing ever because I felt like I needed to pay for groceries because I was like, well, this isn't my house, even though it was my house for like 12 years. And like, that's how I felt. And that's how I would be. I mean, you stay at my house for more than a week, you're paying for something because food ain't cheap.
I love that they sent that message loud and clear. Just, there's no room for you here. And there never will be.
That was the same. Like, all of my stuff was in the garage when I came home, and it was just very clear that there was no place for you at the inn anymore.
Oh, I'll keep Liam's room like a museum.
So my wife's already making little shrines to our children. I'm like, God.
I'll open the door and just stare.
Have a great day, Natasha. Thanks for sharing. I wanted to read you these things real quick, Kat, that are they're trying now to kick them out of weddings. They want these things to now be retired from weddings.
Okay.
There's this giant push to make sure that these things don't happen. Number 5 on the list is the chicken dance.
Then I'm not going.
I like the
it's
chicken
fun.
dance. I think it meshes all the cultures.
Yeah.
Everybody can do it. Grandma can do it. Little baby cousin can do it.
Yeah.
Everybody can do
I
it.
love novelty dances. Derek, if you get rid of the Cupid shuffle, he won't go.
Yeah. Playing Beyonce's Single Ladies.
Oh,
it's
funny.
time for the bouquet toss.
I like that.
What's
That's
wrong with
cute.
that? I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all.
No.
We're getting too woke. The first dance. People online are saying it's lame. No one but the couple is entertained by it. I would agree with that.
I think it's a great moment by yourselves
They
before
say,
everybody
ladies and
takes the
gentlemen,
dance floor.
Mr. and Mrs. with their first dance.
Yeah, I like
Whatever.
that.
It's not like they've never danced before.
That and then the father-daughter dance and then the mother-son dance, I think are very, very special staples. I cry every time.
Number 2 on the list. These are things that people online want retired from weddings. The tired, boring best man and maid of honor speeches.
Yes.
Rarely do you go to a wedding and hear one that isn't like, man, Troy, we've been friends forever. Remember in high school?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other one is, Beth, we've always been best friends. And I know that your life is going to be awesome. And if you ever need anything, sisters for life.
Yeah. Well, let me give you an example of what happened to a coworker of ours. She had her best friend stand up as her maid of honor and said, to be honest, I don't even know why I'm here. We have not spoken in almost 2 years.
The place goes numb.
Oh my God. No, like I could hear heartbeats. It was so quiet. And then she's like, all right, cheers to you guys. And then sat down. It was a meltdown. That was crazy. I've never seen anything like that.
And numero uno on things that should be retired from weddings. Clinking silverware on glasses to get the couple to kiss.
Yeah, I don't dig that. And I was just at my friend Kelly's wedding, and she is like the least PDA type of girl. So it was probably a nightmare for her. Every single time it happened, she had to get up and she grabbed the back of his head.
It's so stupid because, like, you're eating dinner. And people are clink, 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 clink. I mean,
who's the person that feels like they can take it upon themselves to do that?
I don't know.
I know them well enough. Let's see them kiss.
It's always drunk Uncle or drunk Aunt Ruth where she's like, let's leave the kiss a little bit. Right. Hey, Kat.
Yeah.
There is. Why?
Because you've been kind of trying me today. And it's just like,
wow.
You have been kind of in a mood today. You don't feel it? You don't feel angry or anything about anything specific?
I told you about my dreams and everything last night. How I woke up happy to have not been yelled at about giving away all that money.
Okay. Then I take it back. I'm sorry.
You're a pill right now. Why do you think you're so angry?
I don't know.
You're the one that's been mad all morning. I even went out of my way. I went out of my way to find something that might increase your happiness.
Well, bring it on.
Engineering students from Johns Hopkins University have created something that I think not just you, but myself, and for sure every one of my family members will now use because of the complaints we get on taco and burrito night.
Oh, okay.
They've created Tasty Tape.
What's that?
It's an edible tape that you put around your burrito to hold it together so it doesn't fall apart and get all messy.
Oh my God. What color is it?
It's you can get a multitude of colors and ingredients in the final recipe. So you can even get it so that it's flavored. The tape looks like small rectangular strips, about a 1/2 inch by 2 inches long. Comes on a wax paper. You peel them off. You put it on your burrito. It holds it together, and you eat it like it would have been, I don't know, some other food product.
Someone
on there.
spent their time to create that,
These
and then
students,
somebody gave them capital to create it.
They're working on the patent right now.
Oh, God.
It will be available likely before the end of 2022, where you will be able to go to the grocery store, and as you prepare, maybe you get your soft burrito shells, and you go home and you're making your burritos, and everybody listening has one kid that has that thing fall apart, and they complain about it, and you got to rewrap it, and no matter how many years, Nolan, that I show you how to wrap a burrito, you still wrap it the wrong way, and it all falls out the bottom. This will be your saving grace as a parent. You will be able to roll up their burrito, you will be able to tape it shut, and they will be able to eat it like it was wrapped in the kind of like the Reynolds wrap that you get at Chipotle.
You know, I think Liam could benefit from this. I don't eat my burritos that way. I open my burritos, eat the inside.
You know who used to do that?
Mussolini.
Hitler.
And Hitler.
Yeah, together. When they were together, they would eat their burritos that way when they would meet about conquering the world. I had 2 super crazy dreams last night. All right. Number one, my favorite baseball player, like a lot of people right now, Mike Trout. I think he's just such a supreme athlete. And what really changed my view on him, a couple years ago, we were privileged enough to be on the field when the Twins and the Angels were having batting practice. And Mike Trout came up to my son, Nolan, and he saw that he had a ball, and he walked up to him, God bless you. And he goes, Albert Pujols was taking batting practice at the time, right? Just a legend.
Is this your dream or this is real?
No, this was real. And I'll tell you why it leads into my dream. But Albert Pujols is hitting. Mike Trout is standing right by the cage. And he looks back at Nolan, and Nolan's still just kind of a little kid, right? And he's got this ball. He's got all his Twin swag on. And Mike Trout walks up to him, and he goes, are you waiting for Albert to sign that ball? And Nolan just goes, or you could, right? And not realizing, like, Mike Trout is become the best baseball player on the planet. And he just took some time, and he's like, let's see what your swing looks like. I mean, he was just a nice guy. And then and the Pujols gets done hitting, and Mike's going to jump into the cage, and he goes, and he points at him, and he's like, you got to go talk to this little kid. Yeah. And so my son Noah's eyes are so big, and I'm standing back there, and I had a dream that the Angels had come to Minneapolis to play, but I was Mike Trout's, like, chaperone for the day. It was a night game, but I had picked him up from the airport, and I had to show him around.
Well, yeah, concierge.
And I kept going, hey, do you remember meeting me at the batting cage like 4 years ago? And he gave me the sure thing. Yeah. And I showed him around, and we went and had a beer, and we went fishing. Like, this is all, you know how a dream seems like it should be 4 or 5 hours, but it was probably about 2 minutes because your brain is moving so fast. I had that. And then I woke up, kind of shook myself loose. I had this good feel, and I looked at the clock, and it said like 2:28 or something. And I remember saying to myself, oh, I can sleep in for like another 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And I switched my alarm, and then I remembered somehow that we gave away that $2,000 with the secret sound yesterday. Yeah. And the next dream was my boss coming into my office, slamming the door and saying, that's it. There's no more money to spend the rest of the year. Yeah. You understand that? And in my head, I'm playing this out. I go, we're only in the 5th month of the year. Yeah. What are we going to do for the next 7 months?
Did that really happen to you yesterday?
No, it didn't happen. But the hard part was the part that I woke up feeling horrible about. And for some reason, I just remembered it during that song, was that I felt horrible about this whole thing because I had to sit all of you guys down on our team and go, guys, we don't have any more money to give away to spend on marketing or anything for the rest of the year. Yeah. How are we going to get through this? And I remember specifically looking at you at the end of the conference room table and your just look of disappointment in me. The look my parents used to give me every time I would tell them what I thought was good news. Yeah. It was just pure disappointment. Yeah. And you didn't say anything. Like, remember when you were a kid and you'd rather be yelled at than have your parents just go, oh, man, and be disappointed? And I woke up with that feeling. Good. And I was trying to feel like,
you don't want that feeling.
Why can't I shake that? And then it hit me during that song that I got to go fishing with Mike Trout.
Oh, nice.
So everything was way better.
What a roundabout. Okay.
Feeling good now.
Well, I had a dream that, like, the only way that you could drink milk was right from the cow, and you had to put your own mouth on the udder. Isn't that crazy?
I've seen it happen.
You have?
I've seen it happen.
That's pretty
at
gross.
a party, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Everybody called me weird. I am weird.
You don't think this is a little weird?
No, I don't think it's weird at all.
Weird news.
What's weird?
I get that his heart is in it. I really do. That's why I'm not so, like, weirded out. But a guy in India started a business, and he's making teddy bears stuffed with recycled cigarette butts.
On an annual basis, more than 4.5 trillion cigarette butts end up as general litter worldwide. I'm on a mission to recycle cigarette butts into premium, upcycled, stuffed animals. If we work together as a humanity, as one, we can recycle these cigarette waste to solve this problem.
This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Mom, this bear smells like Uncle Ted. What is happening? The guy is sitting next to literally a mountain of cigarette butts. How stinky and gross.
Do you remember when you used to pick yours up off the street that still had a little left and then smoke them again?
I was 12. Do I bring up stuff when you were 12? No. You hold stuff against me.
What did you call those? Refresh?
All right, that is what's weird.
The Playhouse Podcast is made possible thanks to Bradshaw and Bryan Law Offices. Catch the live show weekdays from 5:30 to 9 on 104.7 KCLD. Now, share this with a friend.